and I will be presenting to you the history of the computing. I'm very interested in this topic. I'm majoring in cybersecurity, and yes, I made this PowerPoint for you guys to talk about the history of computing. I hope you enjoy. So the history of computing by Ethan Briscoe. And mind you, if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my I wrote down some notes so I can keep on track. So please just bear with me, please. The introduction. So the history of computing, history of computers has been one of the most evolving factors of technology. We went from just simple mechanical devices to today's advanced and AI-driven systems. You know that AI is very important in today's society today. It's been very big. I feel like almost everybody has used an AI at some point. It's not good to use it in education, but that AI has really been, computing has really brought itself to a high standard and has came a long way. So we're going to take a dive into computing history, where we'll talk about the early parts, the important people, and the first and fourth generation, which are the most important generations, and how they work in today's society. So this is what we'll be talking about, and yeah, early history. The oldest computing device that people still use today is the abacus. These date back all the way to 1100 BCE. This is a device that represents values discretely. Um, this is this is one of the most oldest devices. When I read up on it, they said it was one of the most oldest and earliest devices. As you can see, you probably have seen maybe a kid playing with this before. It was really important to like math and things like that. I've seen a lot of people use that. I really didn't even know it was kind of a device. I thought it was just a toy, but maybe you thought that too. So I got this evidence. It says long before any systematic positional notation was adopted for the writing of numbers, the abacus assigned different units for weights to each rod. This scheme allowed a wide range of numbers to be represented by just a few beads, and together with the invention of the zero in India, may have inspired the invention of the Hindu-Arabic number system. Another device will be the calculator. These are very important in what we use today. We use these in education, almost in every math and anything science. It's just very important to have a calculator. This is one very is also an old device that was made. Um, the calculators are very important. And I even have one myself. And you probably have one yourself too. So these are like the early devices, as I can say. Um, you know, the first generation. The first generation of computers began in the first generation of computers began in the 1940s and the 1950s. Very early. In 1952, the first commercial computer, named the IBM 701, was made. Um, what I'm saying? The first commercial computer was made in the IBM 701. So they weren't really like kind of like your computers you see today. As you can see in this photo right here, it was a very big machine. As you can say, looking at my thing right here, um, it was just very wasn't really your modern computer, I guess. But back then, this is how the computers looked. The vacuum tube technology was also important in the computing history. It says here that vacuum tubes were the main electronic components used in the first generation of computers. A vacuum tube is a sealed glass tube from which air has been removed, allowing electrons to move freely inside. By controlling this flow of electrons, the tube can amplify signals or act as a switch, um, and the same basic functions as our modern transistors perform today. I'm sorry, I can't really say that word, but yes, the vacuum tube technology was very important. You probably heard of like the vacuum and stuff like that. And yeah, so these were the vacuum tube technology. It's about the first generation. Now these are when things start to get real. The microprocessors are very important to the computing history. These are basically like little chips that they put inside the computers to help it run more smoothly, be more efficient. The microprocessor paved the way for companies like Android, Apple, and Microsoft. These were good to the computers. It helped a lot, as you can see, because it went from those big box computers to the smaller computers now. If it wasn't for those microprocessors, we still probably would have the big computers today. um, this was a great invention for the computers. So these were great. This was introduced in the 1970s and replaced the big complex circuits in computers, which I just said. It made the computers smarter, cheaper, and more efficient. These just made the computers better, as I can say, and this was very great for the computing history. Now, these are the important people. These are what paved the way for computing history. This is what helped the computing history shape what they are today. Charles Babbage, as we can start, known as the father of computing. He made the first difference engine, which is the first programmable computer. This is basically the first device that was made that can be programmed. I wouldn't say it was a computer yet, but this is when we're getting there. Douglas Elgebart, credited with the first computer mouse. Actually, what I'm using right now. He made the first computer mouse. Without computer mouses, I don't know how we would use computers, because that's what was first made before we had the MacBooks and the laptops. We need the computer mouse to function on our computer and how we can move things on the computer. Steve Jobs, what I say is the GOAT of computing. He's the co-founder of Apple, and he is the CEO. He made the smartphone and the iPad. The first smartphone is the iPhone. Um, the iPhone is one of the greatest creations that I can say. I really am a big Apple fan. The iPhone is basically a smartphone that can literally do anything. You can look up things on it. You can text. You can call. You can FaceTime. Um, you can do anything on it. Watch YouTube. Watch movies. It's just and iPad's like a bigger version of that. So I really like the iPhone. I feel like he really made smartphones be what they are today, as I can say. He was really a big part of that. Tommy Flowers, he made the first actual computer, the first computer that was ever made. He is basically um, the founder of the computer, and he made it what it is today, and he is the beginning of it all. So yeah. Computing in today's society. Computers are very important in almost every job there is, and it's extremely important in education also. I kept this very short because I really could explain this myself. Computing has really been important in everyone's lives. You see them in doctors' offices, you see them in schools, you see them in even fast food restaurants. Computing is very important to us today. We use it in our everyday lives. We need it. We actually need the computers to make schedules, to do our work, to write essays. It's really the computing is just amazing. It really has paved the way, and this is actually why I wanted to get in computing, into IT, into cybersecurity, because I just really am fascinated with computers. Cloud storage has been important. Cloud storage is basically what keeps everything and saves information, as I can say. If you ever heard of iCloud, you can save it to a cloud. Before we had the little things that you plug into the computer, and it saves your work and your file. So those have been really important to computer history today. Yeah. As you can see, these are the sources I used here for my presentation. I hope you enjoyed the history of computing. It really helped me, and this is why I want to get into the IT field, into the cybersecurity field. It was very interesting to have these facts on how the computers were made and how they have grown in today's society. I hope please bear with me on the mistakes. I hope to do better, but this is only going to help me do better in my future classes. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great Christmas, and I'll see you soon.